Bismillahirrahmanirrahim and Assalamu alaikum Abira. I hope you will be fine. This is our 10th lecture of professional grooming, and the topic which I have chosen to discuss today is notes taking. Yes, Bete, Alhamdulillah, I am fine too. What about you? How is the weather there? Where is your assignment for research project? I did not get yet. Okay, Bete, I am waiting for it because I have to mark. Yes, you have to deal with the things because this is an assignment lecture too, in which you have to take the notes of any of the companies, or you can take the note of any of the proposed meeting. So let's discuss the topic and start the session. Note taking. But in professional grooming and in the while working in the professional environment, notes taking is very important. Why? Because you have to record the information which is being delivered by your bosses. You have observed that when a meeting occurs or when someone organize. No, okay, but so notes taking, we used to have this practice at home, or not at home, sorry, at university and the college. Because when our teachers speak, even though when I deliver the lecture, I say my students in the class that please note it down. I am not supposed here that you must look at me. You have enough time to look at me, but most important thing is to note down whatever the information is being delivered from the teacher's mouth. So it is basically the practice of writing down or otherwise recording key points is called notes taking. So taking notes involves active listening. So there are two types of listening, active and the passive. In the active listening, beta, your ears, your mentally you are present, and whatever comes to your eardrum, it just jumps into your mind and it stays there for short term and you note it down. And passive listening is that something is you are listening something superficially, something is just coming to ears, you are not giving attention. Many of the students who used to have solved some math questions or making some assignments or even drawing, they they just put in their earplugs and listen music, and music do not disturb them because superficially or they are passively focusing on the music, but they are focusing on the work they are doing actively. So taking notes involve active listening as well as connecting and relating information to ideas you already know. It also involves seeking answers to questions that arise from the material. So taking notes is also very important because it also gives you an idea. If you have some back-end knowledge about the topic, you can include your knowledge in the information and make your assignments or the tasks comprehensively more different from the other classmates. But notes taking is not simply scribbling down, scamming down, or it is not about copy pasting. It means that how you are striking your content fancy. I am delivering a lecture and you are just focusing on, you are just listening to it. But if you carry a pencil and paper and begin to write down, because whatever I speak, sometimes it is different from the slides. So it will make your assignment and notes more fancy and attractive. It means that using a proven system and effectively recording information before trying everything together. So notes taking activity mostly practiced in the field of journalism, that in the press conference one is speaker, he or she is speaking continuously on a proposed topic and all the journalists are writing down. It is also being practiced by the secretaries, by the private secretaries, by the assistants. They used to record everything which is being spoken by their bosses. Where the notes taking can help us? The notes taking can help us to translate the difficult words into the very concise or simple words. Notes taking can help us to uh, convert the different or difficult ideas into simpler ones. It can also help us in connecting the good arguments in the essays. It also time efficient in exam. It also access your progress. I have seen that when I used to go out for the examination, I never bring my this much burdened book with me. But many students come with the books and the notes in their hands. So it is a kind of giving pressure to your mind. Many of students making the notes. Have you ever seen political leader delivering speeches in the crowd? What they do? They do memorize the speech? No, they just take the notes, just headings or the clue cards, and deliver the speech for 2 or 3 hours. So this is how the notes taking can help us. Where the effective note taking requires, where do it is necessary to make the note taking? Number one, if you are unable to recognize the main idea, so you just pick out the single point from the speaker's speech and then make a discussion on it. If you have identified the information which is relevant to your task, you can also have a system of note taking that works for you. Sometimes reduce the information to note and diagram format where possible, putting the information in your own words. Many of the like I have seen that in the field of biology, physics, chemistry, even in many other fields in the general sciences, they make the pictures or diagram on the white or blackboard and then discuss on the picture. Many students, instead of recording every single word being spoken by the teacher, they just now note down the important point so that they may discuss it in the paper in their assignment. So that is how the note taking is very effective. It is also effective for argument, for speech competition, for making or writing a good essay. How you can read note, there are different strategies of taking the notes. So there are the few strategies. Number one, think about your purpose for reading. If you are reading something now, Abira, let's be very precise and concise. Now focused. I am giving you an suppose. I said that bete read a novel Paradise and you supposed to discuss with me tomorrow about those important points which makes this novel more significant and underscored than the other novels written by the black authors. What you would do? First of all, your purpose of reading is to be very selective, concise, and precise. You are not supposed to read the whole novel. You will focus on the women protagonists or the heroines who played the significant role. Then you will skim the text. We have discussed that skimming is to focus on the main idea instead of reading the whole thing. Have you ever listened the news on the television? Definitely yes. What they do for the first 2 or 3 minutes, they just spoke out or they just tell us about the headlines. And if your parents or me are interested to know the whole story, we sit down in front of television. Otherwise, most of the people of your age will just listen the headlines and leave the room because news seem to be very boring for you. Same on the newspaper, you people just read the headline and then make your own story that this will be in it. The old people like me used to read the whole story. So headings are the skimming part of the whole content. Highlight or mark the main point and any relevant information you may need to take the notes. Next, read the relevant section of text carefully and take separate notes as you read. If I am giving you a topic or a essay and say that pick out the 5 points out of it, so you will write down only 5 points on a simple paper. It means that it is the crux of whole article. So these points will be the skimmed point and very important on the basis of which a story was nested. Set out your notebook so that you have a similar format each time you take the note. So you can have the same notes, you cannot have the same note at every time, but you can bring little changes in it accordingly. Columns that distinguish the source information and thoughts you can be helpful. If you are making an assignment about some different general science project, so you can draw a line in between the page and then write down one side your ideas and the other person's idea on the other side. Heading that include bibliographic references, detailed sources, information are also important. So headings are also important in making the bibliography. The use of color to highlight major section also important. I have seen my teachers that while reading the book, they carry 2 or 3 highlighters and they just highlight the content that seems to important for them. The second most important point is identify the purpose and function of a text. Read the title and abstract of the page. If you are reading an article, the most important thing is to read the abstract. In a research paper, if you are practicing to read out the research paper, better focused on research on abstract and the conclusion. Abstract shows that what have been written in the whole paper, and conclusion shows that what have been concluded from the whole paper. Then read the introduction or first paragraph, skim the text to read topic headings, and read the graphical materials. So this is the way. Suppose, Abira, if I say that you have 2 minutes and you have to give me a presentation, and this is the content for your presentation that is of 5 to 7 pages. What you do? Will you read whole 5 to 7 pages in 2 to 5 minutes? No. You will skim the whole content. How? You will focus on the headings, subheadings, if any graphs, charts or diagrams included in it, and on the basis of it, you will make your own conclusion. Yes, you will better skim it. Organizing principles. When you are skimming the content or making your assignment, what principles you will follow? First of all, integrate the past ideas into the present ideas. There are the different steps or stages of process. The most important point or least important point, as I am saying, that how will you skim that focused on what have been said before earlier and what is being said by the author in present. There are the stages or steps or the bullets he has used in the assignment. Then most important point and the least important point, if there are any figure, charts, comparative analysis, graphs, dates have been included. So do take those in your assignment. Well-known ideas to least known ideas and simple ideas to complex ideas. So that is how you will move from simple to complex, well-known to least known, most important to least important. The largest parts to the smallest part, problems and solution, causes and results. So this is how you will organize your assignment and your presentation. This is one of the examples they have given us. They have given us that underwater camera is an assignment being given to the student, and they bring out the crux out of it. They skim, like the regular cameras. They have been used in special housing, amphibious, snapshot model, nuclear 35 mm. What kind of lenses are used? So the underwater cameras, which is information is given on the left hand side, and the right hand side information is about the skimmed information. Did you understand? Okay. Beta, you have 5 minutes to read it and give me information which is not included in it. Beta, you have to tell me something which is left in it. Can you bring any other? Suppose they have given us this. Fine. It is the crux of this assignment. So while reading out, can you give us something more which was not documented by the author in the skimmed? Better you can read the whole. Again, listen to me. This left hand side is about the underwater cameras. The right hand side is the skimmed part, which already have been done for you. So your assignment or your task for now is that read the left hand side part and find out if some information is being missed and you are adding that information in this skimmed part. Okay. Okay, very good. Well done. At least you done with a bad health. So this is the thing which I have to appreciate. And that you are attentively listening. So that is most important. Okay, now when you have to take the notes, is it important whatever one is speaking? Suppose one is not speaking good and the information is not right. It doesn't mean that with the closed eye you accept whatever the one person is saying. While taking a notes for an assignment, it is also have to record your thoughts at the time, as you did so in the present task, that I gave you assignment which have been done by other person, but you read it out and that add your comments in it, add your opinion in it, and this should be done while making an assignment. Everything which is been available on the social platform is not correct. That is not not only incorrect, but sometimes there is also some doubts in quoting that quotation, either it is right or wrong. Record your thoughts in a separate column or margin if your teacher allow you, so you can also write down your opinion in some other page or by lining the margin. So now the question arises that what idea did you have about your assignment when you read the information, and how do you think you could use this information in an assignment? As you are doing a research project in your research project class, so when you will take the notes from the websites or from the other person's work, so first of all you will think about your assignment. The whole assignment is not is useless for you. You will just pick out the chunks out of it and then skim it in your own words and write it down or even note it down. And if you think that whole assignment is useless, then you will switch to another assignment. So this is the importance of including your thoughts. Listening and note taking. Yes, listening and noting is also important in the press conference, watching the dramas, if you are making the quantitative analysis. So this is important. So when you are listening to something for making the tips, like we have seen that if our mother wants to cook some kind of a biryani or some chicken with some new recipes, they just listen to being said on the television. So while listening, if one of the point missed, their whole product which they will cook will be a crap. So what they do, that they have a very clear percent, we are listening for the purpose to prepare a good meat today. They will recognize the main idea. They will scroll back if they miss some information. And if someone says that you have to add a salt in it, they will skip this section because they know that how much salt is required for making a good chicken before the lecture. So suppose you are here to take the lecture. So before the lecture, what you will do, that you will revise the previous lecture. Every teacher connect the previous lecture with the present lecture. They used to have a write on the back lecture. They make a little tour and the previous lecture and then connect the previous lecture to the present one. You must have a pre-hand knowledge about the topic which was discussed in the previous class. You must check the pronunciation if any new words was including in the lecture. And rules of pages according to your notes taking system. This saves time in the lecture. If you know that while making the notes or taking the lecture, you must note down the page numbers, because if the page number will be missed, so you will be unable to connect the assignment with the previous pages during the lecture. So what you will do if you have to take the lecture and have to make the notes too? First of all, be on time and sit near the front. If you are here to listen to the speech of your favorite political leader, or if the topic is your favorite and you want to have a complete attention, so you will come earlier and sit in the front row. Next, you have to distinguish with what are the main points, elaboration, restatements, and waffles. Listening for structural cues, what are the transition word used by the speaker, and looking for non-verbal clues. Like sometimes we can understand from the facial expression, by the twitching of fingers, by hands, and the body signal, that what was speaker about to say, but he could not say. While during the lecture, you can also make the, like, as far as Abira myself is concerned, I am not good in listening the lectures. What I do, that I look at my teacher, and on the basis of his facial expression, the words record in my mind. But if someone says that close your eyes and listen to the speaker, so I won't be a good listener in that case. After the lectures, you can revise the lecture after 24 hours. You can make the connection of what was said by the speaker and what was understood by you. You can tidy up your handwriting. If you fill in any bits, review makes remembering lectures. Write a short summary of the lecture in your hand. It is much better. Like you are listening, the whole lecture consists of 59 slides. What you can do, that while you can comprise the whole lecture and can reduce it to 5 to 10 slides, which will be more important. What you think? Symbols and abbreviations. I have an interview and discussion with many of journalists, that what is your reading speed, what is your writing speed. Like we have seen that the speaker is speaking and you are just note down. They said that we do not write down the whole word. We just use the symbols and the abbreviations. Instead of writing down United Nations, they will use UN. Instead of writing down carbohydrate, they will use the abbreviation. Instead of writing the parliament, they will use the abbreviation. Instead of writing the prime minister or president, they will use the president. The contracted words, they will use the symbols and the abbreviations. Some symbols and abbreviations to save the time. So here it is. Like for causes and needs, they will like equal to this. For example, e.g., ate all others. C8 18th century. It can replace with C17 C6. Result positive concerning ing was G, and these are the some symbols which are very important. Look at this, is not equal to, equivalent to, therefore. These are the signs which some people use when they makes the note. Very informative. Getting? There are some common abbreviations, bete. Many are derived from the Latin. CF for the confer, IE, that is EG, exemplar, grade, NB, nota bene, number, numero, etc., etc., and so on. Discipline specify in chemistry, AU for gold, Mg for magnesium. In case of quantities and concept by the Greek letter, we use alpha and beta. Alpha for A and beta for B. Personal observation: diff, gov, neck necessary. Diagrams: you can set down information in a concept map or diagram. So we can make figure number 1, figure 2 if we have an idea about a concept about the figure. So diagrams, you can begin the diagram in the middle of pages. You can make the branches of it. Nowadays, we can have the hierarchy in which we can paste or make the diagram. So this is how. Underwater cameras. Underwater cameras are of two types, regular and amphibious. Regular is need housing spaces, and this is the. So they say that instead of making the complete diagram, you can make this kind of hierarchy too. This is also a kind of making the diagram, as we have made it in different subjects. So there are few note-taking systems. These are very important. The Cornell method. Okay, bete. The Cornell method is very important. I have delivered these lectures to my BS programs and MPhil students too. So the Cornell method also provide a systematic format. How the systematic format? It means that after writing the notes in the main space, use the left hand space to label each idea, like making the cue cards. Like as you are writing an essay on my best friend, so you can add all the characteristics in a bold italic word, which will help you to elaborate about your friend characteristics when you will read out the first word. This is called Cornell method. Rule your paper with 2.5 inch margin. Like while writing the assignment, you will make a margin of 2.5 inch. And what you're supposed to do, that you will add a cue cards or cue words in it, that when you will look at that cue word, you will understand that this is the content which I have to speak under this section. This is the Cornell method advantages. Number 1, organized and systematic recording and reviewing notices. Each format for pulling out major concepts and ideas. It also saves time and effort because do it right in the first place system. It is also good because it saves the time and you know that which you have to speak earlier and which you have to speak in the later. There are few disadvantages of the Cornell method. Number 1, first of all, there is no disadvantages. Secondly, when you can use it in the any lecture situation. The next is the outlining method. Outline, as you know, that while writing an essay, we just organize our mumble jumble ideas. Whatever we have a brainstorming, organize our jumble mumble ideas, write down on the pages, and later on we make an outline on the basis of which we elaborate our story or drama. There are the few advantages and disadvantages of this. Number 1, it is well organized system if done right. It also makes a relationship between outline and the content. It also reduces editing and easy to review. There are few disadvantages of outlining method. Number 1, because requires more thought in class for accurate organization, this system may not show relationship but by sequence when needed. Mapping. The mapping method. As you know better, mapping, as it is very much obvious and understood that what does this mapping mean. Mapping means that when you have to sketch out something. Mapping used in the comprehension and concentration skills and evolves in a note-taking form, which releases each fact or idea. For example, it is a method that maximizes active participation of a student, that the teacher gives you the ideology that make a map out of it, as we have done in the earlier. So extensory perception, that you can say that there are 3 types of education system in Pakistan, and by writing down this, you can make 3 types. You can say there are 3 types of students and you can write down the types on it. This type of methodology is called mapping method. The charting method. It was very popular and common in the schools, where the teacher used to give the charts to students so that they may understand the topic. If the lecture format is chronological, you may set up your paper by drawing columns and labeling. This is the charting method. Look at this. Charting method has an advantages. It helps you to track conversation and dialogues where you would normally be confused. And there are few disadvantages, because few disadvantages except learning how to use the system and locating the appropriate categories. The sentence method. Sentence method means that when the teacher is speaking, you are just writing down the important sentences which are relevant to the topic. It has some advantages. Number one, slightly more organized than the paragraph. It gets more or all of the information. Disadvantages, you cannot even determine major and the minor points from the numbers. But the sentence method, as we were discussing about the sentence method, that one cannot even determine, write down every new thought, then the paragraph, and gets more or all of the information. Thinking to track content is still limited. So sentence method also helps us to squeeze down the idea. If your lecturer or if your demonstrator is expanding the idea, so in a sentence method you can squeeze the whole possible idea into the few sentences or in few words. Where to use the sentence method? We can use the sentence method in a lecture. But what I used to do while delivering lecture for communication skills or the technical writing, that I squeeze the idea for the understanding of my student. But I have seen that many of teachers expand their lecture just to complete the minutes of their lecture. This is the wrong thing. Few sentences, but the weighty sentences not only weight your time, but also put a good influence or good understanding in your students for understanding of a lecture. This is the sentence method. Here is a paragraph. This is also called precise method. It is a paragraph, and this is the sample in which you can squeezing or precising the whole paragraph into 2 lines. Look at this. A revolution in any occurrences that affect other aspects of life, such as economic life, social life, and so forth. Therefore, revolution caused change. So now we can say, making the simple notes, sample notes, that occurrences that affect other aspects of life, for example, econ, sociology, ecology, economical life. Fine. This is how we can squeeze the ideas. There are different examples of it. You can read when I have already shared the slides with HNT. So this is all from my side, in which we have discussed the notes taking methods. So what is the assignment on Monday? On Monday, I will share you an assignment, and you have to make the notes, like 5 assignments, 5 articles, and you have to make the notes according to the mapping, charting, and outlining, sentence method, and the corner method. By all using these methods, you will elaborate those 5 assignments. I will share it, even I will convey it to the HNT. If you have any question regarding it, you may ask. Suppose I share you one assignment or one article. You will elaborate that article according to Cornell method. Then assignment number 2, article number 2, you will prepare or you will write that article regarding the mapping method. The third article regarding the charting method. The fourth article regarding the sentence method. That is how the 4 articles you will have to. Yes, you have to submit that. But I will send you on Monday. I will talk with the HR team regarding this. And you will get a complete 1 week for making assignment. But before that, do submit the research project assignment. Okay, good. Wonderful. A very brilliant student of mine. Okay, inshallah ta'ala, see you tomorrow with the research project, and where we shall discuss the validity and reliability of research. And please, bete, if you get well, so do work on your assignment. Okay? Okay, thank you. Inshallah, see you tomorrow. Take care, and Allah Hafiz.